Are we live?
I'm a genius. Um, yes, I do. Yes, we are live. Wow. Love that. All right, so welcome everyone to World's Sequester live jury question and answers. We have our final two, Pat and Ryan.
Welcome us.
So we will get started with opening statements. So we're going to start off with Pat because the alphabet likes Pat more. Sorry, Ryan. So I will set the timer for 8 minutes. Pat, you have 8 minutes.
Did you say?
Hello.
Okay.
You're cutting off
Yeah,
really bad.
I love that.
But we get the gist.
Okay.
I'm starting first.
Yeah, you're starting.
Yeah,
I'm setting the
and
timer.
Alphabetically, it's me. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to start the timer. You don't have to use all 8 of your minutes. Your time begins now.
Okay, well, just want to say hi, everybody. This is a great game. I liked getting to know everybody. It was definitely one of the most stressful things I've ever done in my life, but it was so much fun. I came into this game with honestly little to no plan of what the style I think. From the beginning, I was like, let me just like build up this game and see how it goes. And then I got thrown right into the first battle match, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is how the game goes. And then second week, thrown right into the battle match where I opted in for a harder option to get the LOS that I had. That LOS ended up having an interesting story with me where I tried to play it and it was announced, but then it was unannounced, and then everybody still knew that I had it. So that painted an even bigger target on my back, along with all the battle matches that I had before. So as that was going on, I was like, well, there that goes. That's going to be wasted in the next turn, and then I'm going to be pulled into the battle match right after. And Isaac wasted no time with wasting my thing and pulling it right in. Out of all the match rounds, I was only safe 2 out of 13. And out of those 13, I went into 6 of the battle matches. So, I mean, I'm not saying like I played this huge, big, impressive game that like dominated the whole thing. I definitely took it week by week. I was trying to ride it out and just like coast things as they went along. I worked with Jared for a huge part of pre-jury. I can't deny that. He was definitely a big help. I then worked with Owen post-jury. He was like my closest ally moving forward. So just having to play the game week by week, that was my strategy. I think I did it pretty well, and I made the connections at the right time to get me where I am today. And even though I had to win a lot of battle matches and I was at the bottom, I fought hard in those battle matches. I didn't know that my opponents, in a case of like Beck, weren't going to try hard, but I still gave my all. I gave 100% in every battle match. I showed that I wanted to be here, and I made it to final 2. So that's my plea for opening statements, and I'm excited to answer everybody's questions.
All right. Ryan, you can begin.
All right. Hi, everyone. I think we can all agree that me sitting here at the final 2 is wild. Obviously, Patrick obviously had a very interesting ride in this game and a very insane path. I also had a very different insane path. I was eliminated pre-jury, trolled my way back into the game with a social challenge where I got everyone to throw a vote and let me back into the game. My strategy coming into this game was not to look at Sequester the same way I look at games like Big Brother and Survivor, which I think have very much like a hierarchy sort of gameplay that you have to look at. To me, this game is like a seesaw, where if you're on either end of the seesaw, it's likely you're just going to get like punted off of it. And so you sort of have to play somewhere in the middle, because the way this game works is that you might be in power and send someone in, but that person has the power to take people out on the other side who are in majority. So I never wanted to be the person who was on either side of that seesaw. I wanted to be in the middle and not get punted off. I think pre-jury, that just led to me being a little too inactive for most people, and so that's why I got eliminated, against Nathan and Aquila. But I came back into the game. I knew what I had to do to change that, and I made so many alliances coming back in. I changed up my game while still trying to be perceived as someone who was just kind of like, what's going on? I came back and I made alliances with Patrick and Owen. I started working with Jared of all people. Like, come on, me working with Jared? Like, I'm like second on that list of who Jared hated the most, like second to Blake, right? Like, I wasn't his favorite person. Um, and I also like at weird times was working with like Beck as well, and I was working with Blake, and I managed to have enough information that I kind of always knew ish what was going to happen, or at least that I was safe. Um, I was always in a position where I knew I was safe, I wasn't getting votes, and that I could throw my vote. Because again, I put myself in a position where I wasn't eligible to be picked for battle match, and I was safe. I wasn't getting the votes. I wasn't on the wrong side of things. I had allies who were telling me things, and I think people didn't see me as a threat. Um, and so that's the way I tried to play this game. I had a really fun time playing this game. I only play in org if I'm gonna have fun. I think this is a great cast. I had a great time. I enjoyed saying good morning fuckos every single day. I'm gonna miss that. And I look forward to hearing all of the questions about why should someone who got voted out of the game already win the game. So let's get it started, y'all.
All right. So we have altered the jury order just a little bit because of people's schedules. So we're not going to be going. We're going to be generally going in the order of who was eliminated, but we have some shakeups, so some surprises. So first up, we're going to have Blake. So hello, Jake. There we go. All right, welcome, Blake. You have 8 minutes to do whatever you want here, so your time begins now.
Okay, hello.
Yeah.
You
Hi.
guys can unmute. This is very
I was about to say, I'm
casual.
going off mute. I'm going to talk to you,
Guys,
yeah.
Good morning.
Hello.
First off, congratulations.
Thank you.
Final 2. I didn't really get to say that at the Final 4 thing, but congratulations. You guys did really well, and, whoever wins, I'm proud of both of you. My question is very simple, I think. It is, I feel like you guys both had some flaws in your game and that people are going to point out down the line. I don't think this is going to be surprising to you. Ryan obviously is someone who was voted at one point, or was out at one point. I'm not sure. I don't really remember what happened, to be honest. I've already blocked it all out.
Like, he was eliminated from the game, just to let you know.
Yeah, as soon as that 2-1-1 vote happened, I was like, done, out. Didn't happen. Patrick, obviously you've been in the battle at 6 times, so despite, we can't all be 10 steps ahead. However, despite these setbacks, how did you position yourself? And on a scale of 1 to 10 steps ahead, how many steps ahead would you say you were at any given time in the game, and why? On average, how many steps ahead were you every week, is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll answer first. I'm gonna split the game into pre-jury and post-jury. Can I do that?
Yes, of course.
Pre-jury, I was never a step ahead. I honestly was like, I didn't know what was going on, and I was kind of at the will of the game and other people and like the minor interactions I had. As the numbers whittled down post-jury, I would say there was times when I was like 4 steps ahead, maybe like stepping up to that 5th, and then never really. Yeah. Never had power in the game, like, you know what I mean? But I still had to manage, and I still got by. So those 4 steps really carried me.
I think you did great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan?
I don't think I was any steps ahead of this game. I think the way you have to look at this kind of game is that you have to make it through where you are. And every round had a different twist. It had a different setup. It had different ways of being voted in. It had different ways of being picked for battle match. Like, I think the people who were planning far ahead were the people who were tripping over themselves because they needed to focus exactly on what was happening right then and there because we have no idea what's going to happen in the future. You know, when I came back into the game, I made alliances with Patrick and Owen that ended up being my strongest alliance, and it's the one that benefited me the most. But when I came back, I didn't know that that was going to be my strongest alliance. It could have been with you. It could have been with Autumn. It could have been with Isaac for all we know. Like it could have been with Jared. And so I knew that I had to worry about what was happening right then and there.
Why about Nathan? You left out Nathan.
I did not have. I did. Nathan and Jules.
I feel like
did
Nathan
not
was a
have too much of
powerhouse. I feel like you're
relationship with.
sleeping on him.
It's not that I don't think he's great. I didn't have that kind
I'm
of
completely
relationship.
kidding.
Yeah.
Anyways, so a good answer as well. I think you also did amazing. Sorry, I was going to joke with both of you. I'm sorry I got off track with the joke. Anyways, I didn't really have much else to say. I think you guys, again, good job to both of you. No matter what people say, I'm not sure what people are going to say, but I feel like a lot of these people are very critical thinkers. And I'm sure they're going to say some things that may be very harsh, but I think you guys need to do your best to turn it into a good thing. And I will be watching, and I would love it if you guys make this fun and entertaining to watch, because I would like to hear your games, obviously, but it's going to be like an hour of these people who were voted out, and frankly were pretty boring in the game, so I'm not sure how exciting they're going to be, so you guys are really going to have to carry it, okay?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. I think that's it. Sorry, Monty, that I don't really have a ton of stuff to say.
No problem. Thank you for coming.
Bye, thank you.
All right, so next up we have Autumn, who is not able to make it. However, she has left a question, so I will read that out right now. If her diary room will load. There we go. All right, so Autumn's question, she has one question, and it's for both of you. Again, if her diary room will load. There we go. All right, so Autumn's question for both of you is, because you're both openly great at competitions, your games look pretty similar. What sets you apart? What sets your game apart from the other that isn't comp related?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I am a good competition player, and I wasn't sure if people thought I was a layup or if people were intimidated by me. And I would say the thing that separates me from Patrick, in terms of us both being good at competitions and what else did we do, is that I didn't have to use my competition prowess a lot. I only had to play 2 challenges. Well, I mean, I played more than 1 challenge, but I only had to win 2 things in order to keep my safety. So I was able to use other tactics, whether they were social. In 2 instances in this game, in the challenge where I came back into the game, it was a social challenge. The only dynamic was that all of the pre-jurors were voting for things, and it was social. I got Owen to give me immunity at one point, right? So I think where we differ is that I was able to do things socially to sort of get my safety, and I didn't need to rely on that competition prowess.
You're good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I would say that I didn't really come into this as, like, I never, ever... If you look at Pat in the dictionary, competition beast is, like, still wet print, because this is newfound territory for me. I didn't come into this anticipating being somebody to win 6 battle matches. What separates me from him, I would argue that in the rounds where it was social that you got voted out on, he got voted out, and it was like a thing where there was 2 other options, and like he got voted out and eliminated. Whereas, I mean, I don't know if I ever got voted out. Oh, I did. Week 2, I got voted out, but into a battle match. But I was able to use that to bounce back. I was able to rely on this unfounded power that I newly had to save me, and then for the second half of the game, I definitely relied a lot more on the threat of my competitionness mixed in with a lot more socialness as the game was going on. I know there's a lot, like, I didn't talk to Autumn a lot, or Jules, or maybe even like Nathan a lot post game, but everybody else I would say I talked to like a decent amount. So I was able to mix in my social game and connect with people further down the line to save myself when I didn't want to expose myself too much, and my battle matches were saving me because I was still getting thrown to them anyway.
All right. So,
yeah, that's it.
all right. So next up we have Jules, who also is not able to be here, but Miss Jules did leave a video for us. So hello, I look gross. Sorry.
That's exciting.
So I will play it on my phone. If you guys cannot hear it, just let me know.
Okay.
Hello, can you see it? Okay.
Hi. First and foremost, congratulations. I can't be there tonight because I'm hosting a live night for my own game, so kind of a difficult situation, but I didn't really talk with either of you that much. That could be mostly my fault. I was in a very good headspace in this game, so I didn't reach out to that many people. So for that, I apologize. There's not much I really can say on that. It's because because I didn't talk to either of you that much. But my question is, what's one thing that you admired about the other person's game and like why you would vote for them to win? That's all.
All right. So you guys both heard the questions? The question?
Yeah.
All right.
You can go first this time, Pat.
Okay. I would vote for Ryan because he's a good social player, and I mean, overall, he's just like a great person. He's a good talker, so he could convince me, not obviously to not vote for me, but if someone else is sitting here, yeah, I'm sure he could easily convince me to vote for them to win sitting in this situation. He obviously played a great game to get here, and the post-merge part was not hard, so anyone sitting in this top two seats deserves it, and I'd vote for Ryan because he played a great social game, and I was even scared of, like, when me and him were debating on who was going to get voted in, and he was like, no, like, they would never vote for you to go into a battle match. I was like, that, but, like, you're scary too. So, like, we're that doesn't make me automatically safe, so that's why I would go for Ryan.
I would vote for Patrick because I think I love an underdog. I think Patrick is a really good underdog. I don't think as good as me, but he's a great underdog. You know, I think like a lot of times people will look at competition wins and be like, oh, cool, but like 6 is a lot. Like that's a lot against a one-on-one. Like so that's like really impressive. So I think like Patrick's whole journey is like an impressive thing that showed how dedicated and passionate he was and how much effort he put in, literally from round 1 all the way till right now. So I think that's really admirable. I think he's had to fight really hard, and so that's I love Patrick, and that's why I would vote for him if I wasn't. God, imagine if the final 2 is Jared and Blake and what that question would be like.
Silence.
All right. Our next juror hopefully is here. He's online, so woo. So let's see. Also, how do you want to? Yes, he is here. I'm just waiting for him to come on.
Well, I got a new car today.
Oh, that's exciting. What kind of car?
It's a Ford Escape SE. Yeah.
Is that like a little one or an SUV?
It's like the medium one.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Cute.
All right.
Completely forgot this
Hello, Nathan. Welcome. Thank you for showing up. You have 8 minutes that are yours to ask or say whatever you want. So your time starts now.
Oh boy. Okay, so I have absolutely nothing prepared. Usually I come prepared for these types of things, but yikes. It sounds about fitting for my time on the season anyways. Congratulations to both Patrick and Ryan. Really, just based off what happened this season, I did not expect either of you to get here. But not in the best way possible, because you two are two of those, like super big survivors of the season. So really, congratulations to you both. Great games on both of your part. I do kind of see similarities between both of your games. So in the sense that I think you were eliminated both like at least multiple times, right? Or at least dragged, right?
Yeah, I was battle matched a lot. He battle matched, but was also eliminated. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, but that's like a main point, that he was actually like kicked out of the game. I was never actually officially kicked out of the game.
I also won my way back in. Just saying.
He won his way, yeah.
Right, that's right. Okay.
Right.
So what I want to know, like as a juror, is kind of like what separates both of your games. Obviously, Ryan, you were eliminated at one point in the game, then got back into the game, and Patrick, you were eliminated several times and consistently won the battle match and got back into the game. So like, what do you think like I should value most as a juror? Someone that really like fought hard and was consistently, voted out and stuff, or like, reward Ryan for obviously coming back into the game. And then obviously, like as someone who goes back into the game, there's a huge threat already on their back. And he still made it all the way to final two. And I wouldn't say he was a floater by any chance either. So just kind of like outline your game for me and like why I should vote for you. Patrick, you can go first.
Okay. I would say, like, the difference is, like, I mean, in all honesty, like, although I was close to the battle match, I was never voted out in a situation where it was, like, vote this person out of the house right now. And every time I was in a battle match, I fought my ass off to get back into the house. And I even did, like, I took the option for a battle match for it to be harder for me to get the LOS. So, like, I was in there to play and, like, play longevity. Once I got that, I was like, all right, I can do this. I had my LOS exposed to the entire house. I would say that Ryan had he was eliminated. He wasn't there the next week, and then he had immunity the week he got back in. So, like, while he made it to the end, he still had a week of technically like 2 weeks to get to the end of the next round, to be working with people and comfortability to get back in with these people. And I was constantly on the bottom, and when he was immune, I had just had the entire house turn their back on me and vote me and Owen in unanimously. So I had said earlier, I'm not claiming to play like this huge big game, because that would obviously be a lie. I definitely played from the bottom a lot, but I played from the bottom and I played hard and I never gave up. So I would say the difference between me and Ryan is that I was way more at the bottom, but I would say the fact that I got here without ever getting actually eliminated is like a pat on my back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ryan, same thing kind of goes to you. Like, why do you think you deserve to win, or like outline your kind of game for me and like how it differentiates from Patrick's?
Yeah. So obviously, like the fact that I got eliminated from the game and I was out is going to be a big point against me in this situation. The thing I'll just say is that, like, there are so many different points of this game that you have to play into all of it. So the fact that there was a battle back into this game, like, we have to look at that. The fact that there was an opportunity to win an LOS during a battle match is something similar. So, like, you have to be put in a terrible situation in order to do better later. And I think the big thing for my game is that, well, yes, I was in a situation where I was at the bottom towards the beginning of this game in the pre-jury where I did get eliminated. I changed that once I came back. It wasn't consistent. And I think, although Patrick was insane by winning that many challenges to win his safety, I didn't have to do that because I was able to change my position in the game. And, coming back into the game, I did have a huge target on my back. I'm an easy boot. Even after the 1 week I had safety, I'm an easy person to feel like, we already voted him out. We did it to Isaac. How many times did we vote Isaac in because it was easy for us to do it, right? And so I avoided those things. I put myself in a different position than I was when I got eliminated. And so I think even though I did get eliminated, I think I did enough to sort of combat that.
Awesome.
Can I answer something?
Mm-hmm.
My argument back would be that I didn't even get that. If that's like his point, I didn't get the opportunity to reflect on my game and come back in and see how to change it. I had to play my game from day one of being thrown into the battle match to the very last battle match. I married the battle matches throughout this game. They never left me. First one and last one. So like I had to play the same game. I didn't have to play the same game. I definitely changed it, especially post merge with socially. But I was given the hand I was dealt week one, and I had to play like that in the game the entire time.
Yeah.
Also, I was gone for one round. All right.
I mean, I know, but still, like you still had immunity the next round too.
Yeah.
This is so like one other little question for you, because obviously like I wasn't dissociated from the game, but like obviously I had 4 games I was playing at the time, so this game kind of like faded into the background. So like tell me like just if there was someone that you really fell back on this season, if like like even if it was like an ally or someone you could like fall back on, like who would that be, just so I could like know, because I didn't know who was really with who, or like where the sides were throughout the entire season. No one really talked to me, and I didn't talk to anyone else, so I was kind of like So like who are you like really with, and like who did you fall back on throughout the season?
For me, pretty much Jared. Honestly, I worked with Jared until when everybody flipped on me unanimously, and then that's when me and Owen, because we were in that pair and voted out together, that's when I was like, all right, you're my final 2. Like I would have sat here with Owen and lost that final 2. Like I didn't care. Obviously Owen would win, he's Owen, so like that was fine with me. But at that point on, I had Owen as my man, and then he was out, and I was like, Ryan, because I knew it was us 3, so I was like, I don't know.
And then Ryan, same thing for you.
That's that's difficult. I can't say that it was any one person consistently the entire game. I would say the people who I ended up probably leaning on the most were Patrick and Owen. I think they ended up being my strongest alliance, and who's working with them benefited me the most amount of times. And I think especially in the end game, however that turned out. But yeah, it's for sure Patrick and Owen. I think Patrick's like the only person who never turned on me, and I never sent him in. So
Period. Okay, I think that's all I have time for, if I'm right, Monty. Right? Confirm.
Yeah, you have like 30 seconds left, so if you want to use them.
I'll just say like one last thing. So again, congratulations to you both. I'm gonna be listening to what the jury has to say later tonight and decide my vote. But you definitely did help me a lot in deciding what to do. So thank you, and good luck to both of you tonight. So good luck.
Thank you.
Yep.
All
I love
right.
you, Ryan.
I love you too.
All right, so we have our next juror, who is also here and in order. Maybe he's not actually my friend. I gotta yell at him.
I'm so excited.
And hide.
Yeah, so gotta add him as a friend real quick. Okay, you should be here now. We love having a cast that doesn't add you. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hello, Jared. Welcome.
Wow.
You have
Jared.
8 minutes to say or do whatever you want. Your time starts now.
Okay, I'm getting off the bus. Give me like 15 seconds. The door is opening. I'm stepping outside. I'm walking past someone. Okay. Alright, I'm ready. Okay, so I didn't really prepare anything. I'm sure, and I also did not listen to the stream, so I'm sure all the basic questions have been asked. Oh, an ice cream truck. Nice. So I'm sure you all had the strategy and the social game and the physical game, but I want to know how that translates to the bedroom. Ryan, you can go first.
Oh God. Okay. Well. Wow. That's not a question I was expecting. So I think the way my game represents um, the bedroom is God. This is I hate this question. Jared, I fucking hate this. Um, I would say I was unexpectedly great. There you go. That's it. Unexpectedly great, and I lasted longer than anyone thought I would.
To compare my game to how I am in the bedroom, I would say I can come back 6 times in one game. I think that's a pretty good night for somebody else.
Oh wow, that's powerful. Okay, I think I like Patrick's answer on that one. Okay. I do want to ask, because I feel like both are
You're cutting in and out. You cut out after you said you feel like.
there are those at all costs. So I'm trying to like see how, and I don't like picture either of y'all like at any point having control of the vote. The only really like differences it can make is like in terms of your dream management is that I left feeling good about Ryan based off, and I felt kind of like it was dream management, but it didn't matter because I saw the effort of Ryan in the battle match chat saying like, "Oh, I love you, Jared," uh, like great. So, like, okay, I feel good about Ryan. I didn't really feel good about you, Patch, because our interaction about Isaac at Final 9. I want to know like your strategy behind like the way you would build bridges with people after a disagreement or something, because I voted you out with Owen for a specific self-preservation reason and would not have done so otherwise. I always picked both you and Owen in my final pick. And it seemed like you cut the ties because of a revenge reason and not a strategy reason, and it you made that clear to me in that conversation. So I just want to know like your rationale behind that.
Okay, so when you had voted me out in Final 10 and it was me and Owen and the thing, in all honesty, yeah, I lost a lot of trust with you, and I immediately flipped to Owen, and I was like, this might be a better round. If I had stayed paired with you, I don't think I was your number 2 ever, and I don't think that the target on your back is bigger than it would ever be on Owen's back. But I paired up could have seen me and him as a pair going further into the game than me and you as a pair. And then after you got voted out, then I would have been left in the like what do I do? So voting for Isaac and giving Blake that second LOS, after that I was like, oh, like did I do the right thing? Like if I would have gotten an LS, and after I realized that, I was like, oh, I don't know, but I still felt the right move in solidifying something with Blake further on, with Blake for the future, and working with the other side, and also trying to still work with you and manage with you. Honestly, still try to get you voted out because you were so dangerous that I didn't know what to do. Hello? Yeah, so, so I just decided to start working with Owen because...
Hi, sorry, my thing exploded. Yeah, I'm here.
It's okay. Okay. I had just said that you had seemed like a more dangerous of a player to be aligned with and than Owen, so I thought working with him would get me further in the game than if I were to continue being paired with you.
Yeah, I think it's just hard for me to like, because I don't know what your perception of like the dynamics were, but like I thought of us on the same side.
Right, I did too, but that's why I was also trying to work with Blake as well. So I was trying to kind of work both sides and show him favor with voting for Isaac.
Okay. Did you like think about jury management much, like as time went on?
I'm going to be honest. No, I could have seen myself in the final two. So I didn't play the game thinking like, oh, if I vote this person out, then they'll vote for me, and if I vote this person out at this time, then like, they won't vote for me. I kind of just played the game week by week and played it going on, and I hope I didn't come across in like a Russell way where I did zero jury management. I tried to just play week by week. Jury management, no, I would not say it was on like my top 3 list of things.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't come off like any. It just.
I mean, I get it. Yeah.
My perception at this point is just like, after getting targeted and dragged into battle matches, that you started to feel jaded and played in a more emotional way because of that, and made your decisions based off of like, oh, this person voted me out, so I can't work with them ever again, and like stuff like that. And like it got down to a certain amount of people that you like closed yourself off to working with. But it worked out for you, so good job to both of you. I think I do want to ask one last question, Ryan, because my last question made him uncomfortable. So,
All right, this is the last thing.
Okay, sure. Ryan, who would you have dragged if you were voted out at Final Four?
If I was voted out at Final Four, I would have dragged Blake. Patrick was somebody who I was working with, and I kind of felt like I didn't think Patrick and I were both going to make it to the final two. I thought it was going to be one or the other.
Nope.
So I probably would have dragged Blake, hoping Patrick would have a better chance against Raul. So that would have been my decision, because I think Blake was overall the biggest threat out of all 4 of us.
Interesting. Okay, I think I know who I'm gonna vote for. Sorry for taking so long, Monty. Okay, bye guys.
You're fine. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up.
Sure thing.
And a mask.
Yes. Wear masks, y'all.
Yeah.
All right, so our next juror, we're going to be going out of order a little bit. Oh my gosh. There he is. So we are going to have Beck come on before he runs off to host his live night. Every game's having a live night tonight, I think, which is pretty iconic.
Is my camera working? Y'all know my camera does AirPod.
Not working.
No.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, while your camera...
told Monty.
He's getting set up. I just first want to thank you for being here, and once you get your camera up and working, you'll have 8 minutes to do and say whatever you want, ask any questions you want. Yeah, so you to start now. You can wait until your camera's like set up.
I'm
normal.
good.
There we go. All right,
Yeah.
your 8 minutes are starting now.
Honestly, I always have the same jury. Like, I don't, I hope you're not expecting like a tailored question to you guys, because I'm like, my brain cells don't work that well. I usually just pick one question and stick with it. So, with that being said, my question is, of course, and usually it gives me a good. So, who do you think was your biggest road in the game, and how did you contribute?
My biggest roadblock in the game, probably Isaac. I think I'm somebody who's I'm orgs in this community for like a century, and there's two people in this long time, and working with Owen, so that especially after I came back, that wasn't a roadblock for me. He was there. He was a big name. He was a threat. He was a shield. I think Isaac was someone who knew a lot about me, knew about my relations, even made a point to like tell people that like, oh, me and Owen are real close, but we weren't necessarily working together. And so he, for me, was someone who was a big roadblock because he eliminated all the women. He kept winning challenges, and he wasn't super close with me, but he knows a lot about me. He could have done a lot of damage to my game. So I think he was the biggest roadblock. I think part of it was me just voting for him, trying to get him out, pushing the narrative of like, oh, it's just really easy for Isaac to go again. Voted him once, let's vote him again. And so for me, I think my biggest roadblock was Isaac.
Right. All right.
For me, I would. This is like an interesting question because, in all honesty, I don't know if I would specifically pick like one person as like see who I thought was like blocking me from like getting anywhere. I would say my relationship with Jared was almost a roadblock for me because I felt like I had to detach myself from him and jump to Owen and like get voted out immediately. Me and Blake went, the first thing me and him said was, "Let's do this. Let's get Jared out the trunk. He can't. Every, he always further. I wouldn't say in like any way to be like sent home or anything, but I would say definitely my relationship with Jared, the fact that I was close with him and was able to detach myself, get him voted out, and move forward. That was the roadblock by game.
Right. I actually just came up with another question, so that's crazy. Maybe I do have But anyways, both of you, like at some point, there was like battle match, was like actually voted out of the game. Like both of you got like a few times to like out of the game and kind of just like think about your game, I guess. So like, what are things like? Do you ever have a moment back from a battle match or like in Ryan's game you voted out and you came back from the buyback, where like you started doing something differently than you were doing prior to that? Like, did you learn anything?
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, absolutely. When I came back into the game after being eliminated, which I'd like to constantly remind people, I had to win my way back into the game. When that happened, I realized the way I was playing wasn't it was my strategy. I was trying to back. I did my best to try to build alliances with people. When I came back, people like Autumn, Owen, who sent me into elimination, wanted to work with me. Someone like Jared, who I had like a verbal thing with in the house chat, also I started working with. But I started working with Blake, like who's yelling at him saying he's 10 steps ahead. So I did back. The idea of what my strategy should be, but just how I was approaching it and alter in a way where I think it actually started to work for me where it didn't in the beginning of the game. And I took that opportunity that I had and made something out of it. And I'd like to also point out that I did also win one battle match.
For me, I was in the first 3 battle matches, so I had a lot of time separate from everybody, and I was like I had like 3 complete 24-hour days where I couldn't talk to anybody. So I was completely separated from the house, and I was like, I need to work on my social game. The correct social game happened next week with Maya, and he didn't throw me into the battle match. I had 1 week of relief. And then the next week, me and Owen got thrown in unanimously by the house, and that was a huge wake-up call for me in the sense of like, I literally had to like look like I looked at Owen and I looked in the mirror and I was like, who else do we have besides each other? So at that point I was like, it's me and Owen to the end. I like F everybody else, honestly. And like I felt like I wanted to like socially work on like try to figure out what was going on, but trust-wise, I wasn't allowing anybody in, and I just wanted to like gung-ho and go through it however I was going to get to the end. If I was going to be safe from something 1 week, I was going to give my all to do that, and if I was going to go into a battle match, I was going to give my all in that. I wasn't going to go down without a fight.
All right, cool. I mean, that's all I had. Congratulations to both of you for getting here.
Thank you.
And I love this final too, so